Hello all, Fiber here, and welcome to Pathfinder Kingmaker. Now, this will be a new playlist. I decided that I'm a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons and the Pathfinder series. Now, I played the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop RPG game, but I haven't played Pathfinder yet. The thing with Pathfinder is that it's like Dungeons & Dragons, but it's got a bit more... I don't know, at least the video games of Pathfinder have a bit more to offer than, say, Neverwinter Nights and all that, I think. I just think they've got more variety, personally. Now, the character I'm going to make will be based on the female character I usually make called Amelia, but in the game, you can actually create custom characters as companions. So, we're going to create Amelia as the main character, and I'm actually going to be... creating my character who represents me in the Pathfinder world from a custom character. The story is of the custom characters are basically they're mercenaries or pathfinders, part of the Pathfinder Society. So naturally you have to pay the Pathfinder. Well, you have to pay the guy who sends out I think it's an elf in this one. You have to pay the lady who recruits those Pathfinders to get those Pathfinders. So think of it like me in the world that like my character being a Pathfinder, new Pathfinder, because obviously you start off level. The character starts off as level 1 usually, unless you're high level. My character will start off at level 1 probably, unless I level up earlier, quicker. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Basically, I'll get my character, and then my character will be a elven wizard. Just because, I like playing wizards. You all know me. You know me, I'm more likely to use magic than I am to use close combat. Now, this game, I won't be playing on a hard difficulty. I'll be playing on a difficulty that suits me. With a bit of difficulty to it, but not so much that I'll easily be able to... That'll die within the first 5 minutes like a normal D&D game. Without further ado, let's begin. Now, how this is going to work, we're going to do the main story. But before Chapter 3, which includes which we'll get to Valhal's, like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, there's a DLC in it that will be imported to the main game, which is Valhal's Life. Beneath Soul Lands is basically, what's it? What's the thing I'm thinking of? It's a standalone bloody... persistent dungeon type thing. Basically, you explore dungeons and you gotta defeat Robogogs, the evil deity Robogods aspects, children or what's the word I'm thinking of? Fuck. Heralds or whatever they call it. I've forgotten the word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So Valhal's what we'll be doing probably after we gain our kingdom, which I've decided to call Amelia's King Moonlight Dominion. So, without further ado, yes, it's a play on Old Mary Dominion. Because most of the... Well, no... Hang on. So, easy, and then critical hits put on normal. I do want Dead Queens rather than Carpenter, because I'm not fucking that up. I want to... We'll go moderately easily. We'll increase that to about 6. Any difficulty. Well, because most of the times my fucking attacks miss, we'll keep it on weak. We want that on. For immersion. No. Oh, yeah. Turn that on for cast on it. I want that on easy. Effortless. Because I still want to manage Kingdom, but I don't want to fuck it up. Because I want to try and finish this game with a Kingdom with Serene thingamajig. No, off. No. And I think... yes. Obviously you can choose the bloody, starting ones. Now... Here we go. Oh man, I missed this. I've been playing a lot of Wrath of the Righteous, so and while Wrath of the Righteous does have a few classes, Pathfinder, Kingmaker, sometimes you just want to go back to that. So you got 9 races you can choose from. Obviously, you got humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, half elves, which are literally half human, half elf, half orcs, half orc, half human. Aesmar, which are basically humans with celestial blood, or whoever have celestial or good outsider blood in their ancestry or celestial blood. Tiefling, obviously fiendish. They are basically humans who have well, they're the offspring of humans and fiends. So basically, all the descendants of demons and humans, or the descendants of demons and humans, or devils and humans. So we're going to go elf. Naturally, I'll be going a male when we get to my character. Now, we're going to go... So there are 16 classes. Yeah, the alchemist is basically a bomb thrower. So throws explosive acid or explosive... what's the weapon? Fire. Barbarian, pretty self-explanatory. Bard, which is basically, well, a bard. Cleric. Obviously, you got the archetype, so you can choose, like, all that. You got a normal alchemist, Grenadier, which is basically a more improved version of bomb specialist, and then basically a vivisectionist. Basically, well, slaughter is the definition of that one, and basically, so this is the opposite of the Chirurgeon, the vivisectionist. The Chirurgeon, I don't know how to say that. It's basically one who is an alchemist who heals. Basically, now this vivisectionist is basically an alchemist who kills. Barbarian, you got the Barbarian, normal Barbarian, Armed Hulk. Most of the time, they use the Armed Hulk use the most civilized, the heaviest armors created by most civilized people. And the Mad Dog basically are wild savages who fight alongside rabid dogs. And basically these guys basically take damage to propel to increase their damage. Bard is obviously the usual, they're musicians of the world. Basically they are the ones who would play like in a tavern or something. You got the archaeologist who basically, well, it's literally an archaeologist. They just have the magic and healing of the magic of a bard and combat of a bard. The Thundercaller are their mystical leaders who speak to the spirits of the land who bear the knowledge of the ancients and whose voices ring like thunder. Now, I think this would be more of a Skald, or in Wrath of the Righteous, would be more of a Skald or a Spirit Hunter class. Flame Dancers, obviously, well, they basically study the movements of fire and basically, well, they are the fire. Cleric, obviously, you got Cleric. Crusader, which are what most of the NPCs tend to be, well, what a majority of the Crusaders tend to be in the Wrath of the Righteous, because they all have Smite Evil for some reason. So, yeah. The Herald Caller, basically, they call the servants of the outsiders of their patron deity to battle. So, basically, they call powerful outsiders, like angels, demons, devils, depending on what alignment you are. Well, depending on what god you are. And this guy just basically focuses on literally the magic of his deity. The Druid obviously is pretty self-explanatory. They are basically nature's mages. The Blood Druids basically, they are the servants of corrupted nature. They are caretakers of lands ravaged by natural disaster, meaning they have some pretty good, strong magic. Oh wait, was it? They feed the creeping rot and decay. Oh, so... hang on. Right, so yeah. So, they, Defenders of the True Worlds basically slay Fae threats. So if you're gonna want to be a... Because most of this game's plots revolve around Fae, evil Fae. So if you want a good class to deal with this will be a pretty good class. Because yeah, they are probably the best class equipped to deal with the Fae. Or you can go Fae Speaker, and they mimic. Hang on, these Fae Speakers have been touched by Fae in some way, such mortals dare to eat the food and drink the wine while in the hidden halls of the Fae. So basically, yeah, these guys, anything to do with Fae that can. Any class that can deal with Fae or like has extra damage against Fae is a good way to defeat Fae, because you can use their weapons against them. Obviously, you get your fighters. Normal fighter, the Eldori Defender, who basically focus on the Eldori dueling technique, which means they use dueling swords, and they basically use instead of getting hit, they prefer to dodge. So these guys are like the rogues of warriors. Tower Shield Specialists, which are pretty self-explanatory, they specialize in Tower Shield. Two-hand fighter, pretty self-explanatory, they specialize in great swords and two-handed weapons. Inquisitors are basically like, how should I say this? They're like, they're a class that basically is, well, it's Inquisitor. If you think of Dragon Age Inquisition, they literally are the main body of the Inquisition of the faith. For example, in Wrath of the Righteous, Iomedes bloody Inquisition is highly prevalent, and in one of the quests in Wrath of the Righteous is basically a few that you have to take over in Canabras in the beginning is basically they're both is basically stopping a feud between a crazed old Inquisitor of Iomedes, which I don't know why she had not taken his spells away, because obviously he's too old to serve, and he's fucking mad as shit, because he was going after a Desna priest, which, if you don't know, Desna is chaotic good deity of dreams, travel, the night, and all that. She's a patron. She's one of the I think she's part of the Elven Pantheon, because her appearance tends to be of a beautiful elven woman with butterfly wings, who's accompanied by a butterfly, and she tends to be a bit aloof and all that. So as a deity, I don't know. Basically, most of my characters tend to worship her, because I think she's just cool for a deity. I don't know, she just tends to be it's like, because she values Fred above all else, and because part of my life I was kept on a very short leash, I tend to value my freedom above all else. So I just think I can identify with her a bit more than other deities in Pathfinder. But anyway, so you get, basically the Inquisitors basically they're, other than Paladins, are the other militia arm of the they're the other militia arm of the faith. For example, like I said, Iomedes Inquisitor. She's got her Inquisitor, she's got a Paladin, she's got a Clerics. The Monster Tactician basically is basically takes advantage of the movements of the opponents and strikes where they're weak. Tactical Leader basically seeks like-minded allies and accomplishes their goal. And the Sacred Heart Master basically has a strong bond with the Animal Companion, and they hunt and punish threats to the faith of the Inquisitor as an inspiring duo. And I can attest to that, because I can attest to the power of this specific archetype of this class, because they're how fucking good. Kineticus obviously which is often what I choose for my character. The Kineticus often is a class that what's the word? They basically have fire. They channel fire, water, air, or earth, depending on which elemental being they've been touched by in the veins. So they basically literally are the elemental powerhouses of Pathfinder. Dark Elementals, who are low to suffer the consequences of their power. The thing with Kineticus is that there's also downside. They tend to, what is it? I think, is it burn or something? What is it? Hang on. No, I don't want to psychokinesis. Let's see. Yeah, so basically, the Kinesis is a heavy class. Like, they're very powerful, but at the same time, they get something called burn, which I don't know. I think it's something like fatigue. I don't know if it's something to do with. I know there is a debuff to using burn, but there is a huge debuff to the class as well. But it's powerful. We've got Kineticus, Dark Elementals, Psychokinesis, which are basically Kineticus use their mind to for their elemental class. And obviously Kinetic Knight, who usually... Oh, the Kineticus... So the Kineticus is kind of like a dual class. So you can do melee and range. So Kineticus basically they use their elemental power as their main weapon. But every Kineticus, it doesn't matter if you're Kinetic Knight, but the Kinetic Knights feature mostly on melee combat. Because you get a feat in... A Kineticus gets a feat called Kinetic Sword or Kinetic Blade, which is literally a blade of their chosen energy. For example, if you chose the Earth one, you literally make a blade. Channel basically manifests a blade of stone. Fire manifests a blade of fire and all that, which is basically what my character on Breath of Righteous is. Because I'm going down the Angel Wing path, I decide what class would best be for a Sword of Flame. Oh yeah, the Kineticus. It's actually my favorite class to play, the Kineticus. I'm changing something fucking Neverwinter Nights. Now we've got the Magnus, which is basically mages who study magic and combat. The monk, obviously you got the monks and all that, basically just fighting with fists. Paladin, pretty self-explanatory. You got the ranger, basically a Legolas as an archer. Rogue, thieves. Slayer is basically a monster hunter. Basically they specialize in hunting a specific type of monster. You got the sorcerer, which is what we're going to go for. And then you got the wizard, which is what my character will be. So, the sorcerer. You got the sorcerer, which is the normal sorcerer. You got the imperial sorcerer, which is basically a sorcerer who has divine blood. Like an ASMR, which would be a good path if you're going for an ASMR. This will be probably a perfect fucking path to go for as well. But ASMRs tend to go for divine magic than arcane. But if you want an ASMR with arcane magic, then go, and you wanted to fit in lore, choose sorcerer, imperial sorcerer. You got the Sylvan sorcerer, who tends to have, well, the normal Fae characteristics and tend to come closer to Fae. So you got the Sylvan bloodline. And then you got the Sage sorcerer, who basically comes from the knowledge and traditions of your bloodline. So magic is really just so prevalent in your character's bloodline that it just force personality. It's just a normal part of your bloodline. So they literally have no blood from outsiders. They literally magic this bloodline would have produced such strong magic in their characters in their family line that literally it's just become part of the family. So, but we're going to go normal sorcerer because the bloodline we want is not part of here. Why is that not working? Yeah. Alright, so we got the body type. That's way too tiny. We'll go... Obviously, this is a funny thing. So you can choose left-handed or right-handed here, but... Yeah, you can't choose it in Breath of Righteous. So we're going to go right-handed. But my character's going to be left-handed because I am left-handed, believe it or not. I hate how you can't go in closer. I need to turn off that hairstyle so I can see his face. Imagine that scene going, hello! I'm going to go... normal. We'll go with that hairstyle. Now, brown. And prime color, yeah, red. Secondary color, red. No. Black. There we go. And there we go. I think we're all good. You think that's alright? Yeah. Now, bloodline. Now, I know what bloodline we're going to choose, so. Wait, that's on the right body type? You can go for a smaller elf. Elves tend to be slim, but... Yeah, I think it's too slim for a fucking elf. I don't think elves are that tiny. Now, obviously, imagine having an abyssal bloodline in Breath of Righteous. Fuck. So, I'll go through each of the abyssal lines. The bloodlines. Obviously, don't need to go through every single Blade Draconic bloodline because they're basically the same. As we are going to choose a Draconic bloodline, we're going to choose a Silver Dragon bloodline. Because it's a special ability you get when you reach a high enough level with the Sorcerer Draconic bloodline. So, abyssal bloodline. Generously go, a demon spread is filthy into your heritage. While it does not manifest in all your kin, for you it is particularly strong. You might sometimes have urges, chaos, and evil, but your destiny and alignment... Fuck! Mine is blocked. It's up to you. It's getting the winter here. While some would say you are possessed, you know better. The demonic influence in your blood grows as you gain power. So basically the basic bonus feats of the Abyssal Bloodline: Augment Summoning, Bull Rush, Cleave, and Power Spell. Well, those are the feats, they're not the actual spells themselves, so don't worry about that. I wish there was a way you could view the fucking... doesn't matter. Your family has always been skilled in the arch and magic. While many of your relatives are accomplished wizards, your powers develop without the need for studying practice. Magic comes naturally to you, but as you gain levels, you must take care to prevent the power from overwhelming you. Basically, your bloodline is blessed by a celestial power, either from a celestial ancestor or through divine intervention. Why? I don't know why you wouldn't choose Imperial Sorcerer, because it's... you choose the normal Sorcerer and you get the celestial bloodline, you don't get the good holy feats that come with the Imperial Sorcerer. So trust me when I say this, if you're going to do a Sorcerer or Celestial Bloodline, go Imperial Sorcerer, because you get basically divine magic custom along with the arcane magic. You get a lot more perks going for Imperial Sorcerer than you go for Celestial Bloodline. Plus you also get wings to boot with the Imperial Sorcerer. Angel wings. Obviously you got at some point in your famous history, a dragon embreeds bravery blind. Now it's ancient power flows through your veins. Lord of the darkest swamps and marshes, white dragons are the undisputed masters of the domain, ruling through cruelty or intimidation. Those who dwell within black dragon's reach live in fear. Blue dragons are consummate schemers and obsessively orderly in combat. Blue dragons prefer to surprise foes if possible and are not above retreating if the odds turn against them. Consummate conservationists, brass dragons prefer to talk instead of fight. Bronze dragons have been known to ally with travelers and adventurers if their cause and role is right and just. Jesus. Copper dragons are whimsical and spend most of the time in combat trying to annoy and frustrate their enemies. Gold dragons. Gold dragons are the epitome of virtue. Other metallic dragons revere the gold cousins as the engines of armed forces and paragons of dragonkind, and often seek them for advice or aid. Literally, the gold dragons literally have a holy breath, I think. They're fire breath, they're the holy flame or something like that. Green dragons dwell in ancient forests as well, prowling under towering canopies of such prey. Of all the chromatic dragons, green dragons are probably the easiest to deal with. Metallic dragons good, chromatic dragons bad. Red dragons are especially bad. Few creatures are more cruel and fearsome than the mighty red dragon. King of the chromatics, this terrible beast brings ruin and death to the lands that fall under its shadow. Draconic bloodline of all the dragons, silvers are the most courageous, holding themselves to a chivalrous code to help the weak, defeat evil, and behave in a normal manner. Draconic bloodline, white. Although most consider it to be the weakest and most feral of chromatic dragons, the white dragon makes up for its lack of cunning with sheer ferocity. You've got the elemental bloodlines. The power of the elements resides in you. At times, you can hardly control its fury. The influence comes from an elemental outside in your family history or a time when you or your relatives were exposed to a powerful elemental force. Air infuses your being, and you can draw upon its power in times of need. Earth infuses your being, fire infuses your being, water infuses your being. Fae bloodline. Jesus. The capricious nature of Fae runs in your family due to some intermingling of Fae blood and magic. You are more emotional than most, prone to bouts of joy and rage. You have always had a tie to the natural world, and as your power influence increases, so does the influence of Fae over your magic. Infernal bloodline meaning hell, Asmodeus. Somewhere in your family's history, a relative made a pact with the devil, and that pact has influenced your family line ever since. In you, it manifests in direct and obvious ways, granting you powers and abilities. While your fate is still your own, you can't help but wonder if your ultimate reward is bound to the pit. You can draw upon the power of hell, although you must be wary of its corrupting influence. Such power does not come without a price, like it usually does with with devils in Pathfinder. And also D&D, not a bit. Your bloodline carries the lingering stain of ancient serpent races that ruled when the world was young. Your forebears were likely favoured slaves anointed by their reptilian masters, and gifted with their cold, cunning, and subtle manipulation. With wild deception and a mesmeric charm are your birthright, you may struggle for truth in spite of your heritage. The treacherous and yet hypnotic serpent's blood that flows through you taints your magic with the sinuous and seductive grace of the undead bloodline. The taint of the grave runs through your family, perhaps when your ancestors became powerful lich or a vampire, or maybe you were born dead before suddenly returning to life. Either way, the forces of death move through you and touch your every action. You can call upon the foul powers of the afterlife. Unfortunately, the more you draw upon them, the closer you become to join them. So, I would like to think that this will be, if you're doing a sorcerer that, basically, worships Urgathor, this will be, the undead bloodline in lore would probably be the best fit, because literally, she is the god of undeath. Whereas, if you're doing it for Pharasma, there might be, maybe not, but as long as you don't go for undeath, then, I think you will be right, but because Pharasma abhors the undead. She literally hates them. If she could, she'd wipe them off the face of the earth, but unfortunately she's a powerful god, but she's not that powerful. As powerful as that, if you take my meaning. More intelligence, so I can be smart. Fuck, my bloody, elves tend to be very dexterous. I'll put one more constitution. I keep forgetting it's not square, Aiden. It's not square. You're not playing Wrath of the Righteous. Point blank shot, we want that for spells. Combat casting. Burning Hands and symbol. We're gonna go chaotic good.
I'll take care of it.
Imagine that.
Let careful now. With great no let's. Hey, have a look.
So I'm usually choose. I'm just gonna go Amelia this time, because I put the last name. Last time I played this, I put the last name behind the character and fucking failed bloody to oh, what's the word? To bloody the dialogue didn't make sense. Well, I thought you could choose a bloody deity as well.
This hurts so much.
Huh, weird. Maybe that's only Wrath of the Righteous. Yeah, no, must only be Wrath of the Righteous. Oh well, doesn't matter. Well, usually in the Wrath of the Righteous, doesn't matter what class you are, you'll be able to choose a deity, but it seems like for this one you can't. I suppose like for Wrath of the Righteous you need the deity for story reasons.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord, drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward. Heroes of all stripes gathered here.
Alright, I'm gonna end the episode here, because that took half an hour. Jesus, I didn't realize that. So don't worry, I'm gonna start recording straight after, so I'll upload, this one will be uploading, hopefully this one will be starting to be uploaded by the time I'm done, alright? I'll talk to you all later, alright?